She's already had the conversation with you. You just weren't in the room when it happened. She had it in her head, probably at 11:30 at night while you thought she was just scrolling her phone. She rehearsed what she'd say. She imagined your response. She felt the disappointment before it even happened, and then she closed the app, put the phone face down, and decided to say nothing. Again. This is not a rare occurrence. Research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that women in long-term relationships withhold an average of 3 significant emotional needs per week from their partners. Not because they don't want those needs met, but because the act of asking feels like it would cost her something she's not willing to spend. She would rather go without than explain why she needs it. If that sentence just made something click for you, stay with me. Because what I'm about to tell you is the kind of thing women have an unspoken agreement not to share. And I'm sharing it anyway. One warning before we start. Number 4 on this list is the silent relationship killer. Not dramatic, not explosive. Just a slow, invisible erosion that ends more relationships than any argument ever has. Pay close attention when we get there. Number 6, make the decision. Any decision. Just make it. I don't know, whatever you want. 4 words that feel considerate and are received as abandonment. When a man consistently refuses to choose the restaurant, the plan, the direction, she does not experience it as flexibility. She experiences it as one more thing she has to manage, one more item of invisible labor that lands in her mental inbox, marked urgent. She wants you to decide, not because she can't, because she already decides everything else. And having one person in her life who walks in with a direction, who says, "We're going here tonight, dress however you want, I have it handled," that is not controlling. That is relief. She will never say, "I need you to make more decisions," because it sounds like she's criticizing your passivity. So instead, she just keeps choosing and slowly resenting that she always has to. Be the man who decides. Watch what happens to her shoulders when you do. Number 5. Notice something changed before she tells you. She rearranged something, changed something small about how she looks, did something differently than she always does. She's not testing you, but she is a little watching to see if you exist in the same room as her or if you just exist in the same space. There is a fundamental difference between a man who is present and a man who is simply nearby. Presence means you notice. Not everything, not obsessively, but enough. Enough that when she changes her earrings to a pair she hasn't worn in months, you catch it. Enough that when she seems quieter than usual, you name it without her having to perform distress until you ask. A study from the University of California found that feeling noticed by a partner activates the same neural reward pathways as receiving a direct compliment. She doesn't need you to say something every time. She needs to know that you see her, the real, daily, ordinary version of her, not just the highlighted version she presents when she's trying to be seen. She will never ask you to pay closer attention. That request would make her feel invisible in a new way, so she stays quiet and files it away. Number 4. This is the one. Defend her when she's not there. Not to her face, not in the room, when she's not present. The way you speak about her to your friends, to your family, to a co-worker who made a comment. She will never hear most of it, but somehow she always finds out. And the information she receives travels back to her nervous system with an accuracy that defies explanation. A man who talks about his partner with affection and respect when she gains nothing from it, when there's no performance, no audience, no one to impress, is communicating something that cannot be faked. When her name comes up and you respond with warmth instead of deflection. When someone makes a dismissive comment and you correct it. When you refer to her with language that makes it clear she is someone whose perception of the world you genuinely respect. You are building something in her that no direct compliment can replicate. She will never ask you to speak well of her when she's not in the room. She shouldn't have to. But the men who do it without being asked become the men she never stops feeling safe with. Number 3, be the first to show a crack. She's exhausted from being the only one who admits to struggling. Men are taught early that vulnerability is a liability. Show weakness and lose ground. But in intimate relationships, the opposite is true. When you go first, when you say I'm overwhelmed or I don't know what I'm doing or I needed that more than I let on, you give her permission to take her armor off too. She has been carrying the emotional weight of the relationship largely alone, not because you don't feel things, but because you don't say them. And carrying alone eventually becomes leaving alone. She will never ask you to be more vulnerable because she is afraid that asking will make you perform it rather than mean it. The power is in the genuineness. The moment it feels real is the moment the whole dynamic shifts. Number 2, remember what she said and bring it back. She mentioned something 3 weeks ago, halfway through a sentence. Something small about a difficult conversation she had, something she was nervous about, something she was looking forward to. You nodded. You moved on. She filed it under he wasn't really listening. The man who circles back, who says whatever happened with that thing you mentioned about your sister, or how did that go, or I was thinking about what you said the other night, is not displaying good memory. He is displaying that she occupies his thoughts when she's not even in the room. That is not a small thing. That is everything. She will never ask you to follow up on what she tells you because asking you to do it eliminates the entire point. The magic is in the initiative. The magic is in realizing you were already there. Number 1, choose her publicly and quietly at the same time. Not a grand gesture, not a post, not a speech. Just the moment at a gathering where there are 10 conversations happening and you find her across the room and cross it for no reason other than to be next to her. The hand that finds the small of her back without announcement. The introduction where you say her name with a warmth that the other person immediately notices. She does not need to be the center of every room. She needs to know she is the center of yours. She will never say, I need you to choose me more visibly, because it sounds like insecurity. But the quiet, consistent, entirely unprompted ways you demonstrate that she is your priority, in public, in private, in the middle of ordinary Tuesdays, those are what she replays. Those are what she stays for. Now you have 6 things she has never said out loud, but has needed since the beginning. The men who figure this out don't figure it out by accident. They figure it out by deciding that understanding the person they love is worth the effort of paying attention. You just made that effort. Now go do something with it.